Okay, guys, today I'm going to teach you about making inferences. So I'm just going to go over kind of just the basic definition of what an inference is and kind of how people come up with them. And then we'll go over with some example questions that you'll probably see later on whenever you take like the SAT or something like that.
So here we have kind of the basic definition of an inference. So an inference is a conclusion you draw about something by using the information that you already have about it. So you use kind of textual clues and your own background knowledge to kind of perform an inference. And so the signal words for when someone is making an inference is I think, perhaps, maybe, or I infer. So that's how they usually start the sentence before they continue with their inference. So here we have a further elaboration of an inference. So an inference occurs when you know something, but nobody ever told you about it, and you never read it anywhere, and you used your knowledge and your experience to infer what you know. So yeah, this is just kind of a further elaboration of the more simpler definition I gave before. It kind of breaks down the what infer is as a verb. So that's when you use inference to come to a conclusion. And an inferential question is a question that requires an inference to answer versus a literal question, which is just a normal question that you guys are used to. Okay, here we just have recognizing visual inference. So given this picture of these four women over there, what kind of inferential statements can be made versus literal statements? So looking at that chart below, you can see that we can infer that the women are members of the same team. They have just won a race or some kind of competition. We can infer that they've trained very hard for this event. We can infer that the women's friends and family are proud of them for winning or even competing in the event. We can infer that this may be one of the happiest moments in our life or happy moments in their lives. And then looking at a more literal and not making inferences, we can state that they're wearing the same uniform. They are from Nigeria because it says it on their uniform. They're there are track teams. They have the track lanes beneath them. All four women are smiling. Just these are more literal statements. So that's kind of a good kind of way to see how inferences and literal statements are different just looking at the same picture. Now we're going to go over some kind of example questions of making inferences given just a small sentence. So the first one we have is Turner almost wished that he hadn't listened to the radio. He went to the closet and grabbed his umbrella. He would feel silly carrying it to the bus stop on such a sunny morning. What probably happened? So, what inference can we make given this above passage? Either that Turner realized that he had an unnatural fear of falling radio parts. Turner had promised himself to do something silly that morning. Turner had heard the weather forecast that predicted rain, or Turner planned to trade his umbrella for a bus ride. And so the right answer for this is option number 3, which is Turner had heard a weather forecast that predicted rain. And we infer this because it says in the beginning that he wished he hadn't listened to the radio because he would feel bad as he carried the umbrella on such a sunny morning. So the reason he's carrying the umbrella is because he probably heard it was going to rain on the radio. The next question we have is Bill and Jessica were almost done taking turns to choose the players for their team. It was Jessica's turn to choose, and only Kurt was left. Jessica said, Kurt, we can infer that. So we can either infer that Kurt was the best player on the team, Jessica was inconsiderate of Kurt's feelings, that Kurt was not a very good player, or that Jessica was pleased to have Kurt on her team. So since the above statement states that only everyone was picked before Kurt, we can make the inference that option 3 is the best answer. So that is that Kurt is not a very good player. The next question is Chloe wasn't much of a writer, but what she could do with a brush and canvas was incredible. You give her any topic to write on, she would do a decent job. But if you explain her a scenery, she would incredibly bring it to life on a canvas. Everyone complimented her for what she was amazing at. What does it infer? So this infers that either A, Chloe could do anything with incredible means, B, Chloe could write anything incredibly, C, she was the worst writer ever, or D, her art skills were amazing. So given the fact that the above statement says something such as how she can beautifully paint and how even just simply describing a scenery to her, she can bring it to life on canvas, we would infer that D, her art skills were amazing. Our next question is, Larry, as your boss, I must say it's been very interesting working with you. Miss Valdez says, however, it seems that our company's needs and your performance style are not well matched. Therefore, it makes me very sad to have to ask you to resign your position effective from today. What was Miss Valdez telling Larry? So, what can we infer that's going on with Larry? Either A, she would feel really bad if he decided to quit, he was being fired, he was getting a pay raise, or she really enjoyed having him in the office. So, based off of the fact that she says I'm very sad to have to do this, but you're gonna have to resign your position, we are inferring that he's being fired. Our next question is, it goes like this. No, honey, I don't want you to spend a lot of money on my birthday present. Just having you as a husband is the only gift I need. In fact, I'll just drive my old rusty bucket of bolts down to the mall and buy myself a little present. And if the poor old car doesn't break down, I'll be back soon. What is the message? So what can we infer from her statement? Either A, she doesn't want a gift, she wants a new car, the mall is fun, or I'll carry a bucket for you. And so, since she keeps on harping about how she has an old rusty bucket of bolts for her car and how if it doesn't break down, she'll be back, we can infer that she wants a new car. So, option B.
All right, guys, so that's what I got for making inferences. I'll include some worksheets below that you can continue to play around with this with. And yeah, see you in the next video.